Hello, and welcome back to A Confession of Love from Gazelle to Mikkel. Finally, we have somebody that cracked, maybe slipped up on accident, and confessed their love. So, let's see the fallout of that confession. For an instant, time froze. By the time I realized what I had said, my mind had gone blank, and I couldn't form a coherent thought. I mean, like family. You're like an older brother to me. I'm in love like love for a brother. Hey, say something, master. Give me your usual exasperated sigh. Come on now. Go on, give me your best good grief, and then hurl me out the window. Oh, come on, please, show me some disappointment. Uh, Master? Uh, when the wood panel he was using as a canvas and the charcoal in his hand crushed to the hard chapel floor, the clattering was so loud I jumped. I didn't have the presence of mind to wonder why he had knocked over the canvas, or why his hands appeared to be shaking. Let me help you with that. I stepped towards him, and when I did, the moonlight shining down upon us intensified, and our gazes of jade and ruby intertwined. Such a lovely shot. There was a visible rosiness in his ethereally pale cheeks. Master? Flickers of panic darted beneath the surface of his normally stony red eyes. They were trembling as he looked over at me. I was at a loss for words. We must have been under the moon's spell. We weren't thinking. We stood alone in a frozen world, robbed of all rational thought. Riding the moonlight's current, his hand fell against my cheek. It was much colder than I had expected, but it felt pleasant on my flushed skin. As we drew closer, I could feel the warmth emanating from his body, and I'm sure he could feel mine. The beating of my heart, too. His breathing stopped for a moment, then he gulped. He brought his head in. I closed my eyes and... Prank! Dink! Little flick on the head. Ah! Oh, no. Aw, man. That's actually kind of sad. Oh. Then I shoved him away with all my strength. Huh. Mikhail rolled back. He knocked his head on the side of the pew and began groaning in pain, which is when I finally realized what I had done. Oh, what have you done, Gazelle? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Are you hurt? I'm fine. Sorry, you startled me. I really, truly didn't mean to knock you down. Oh man, it's so sad that someone can't man, I don't know, I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but I do think it's sad that she can't feel that, uh, feel love because of traumatic experiences. You should go back to your room. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused you tonight. What? Get some rest. Good night. Ah. He turned away, marching off into the corridor, enshrouded in darkness. There was a heavy air of loneliness hanging over him, which gave rise to phantom images of him actually disappearing into the darkness. I had caused that, but I hadn't realized until it was too late. It felt like someone was sitting on my chest. Why would I ever do that to him? Of course I'm going to hurt him reacting like that. Maybe I was hoping he would say it was one of his jokes. Do I want it to be a joke? I had that option. I could pretend nothing ever happened, and tomorrow would go back to the way things were before. But if I did that, there would almost certainly never be a second chance. You were okay with it. You wanted it, Gazelle. Quit lying to yourself. You're the one who said you loved him. And that was no mistake. He wouldn't sit shoulder to shoulder and read a book with someone you didn't care for. You wouldn't enjoy eating supper with someone you didn't like. You wouldn't be able to live happily with someone you didn't love. You have to go after him. Find him and tell him the truth. Alright, down the dark mansion corridors we go.
What am I doing, for God's sake? I'm not in my right mind. Something about me was off today. I couldn't control myself. I was saying things I didn't mean, doing things I didn't intend to. I had never meant to do that. But at this point, I had no choice but to admit my feelings. I couldn't pretend I didn't know what they were anymore. How long had I felt this way? A week? A month? 6 months? Or maybe a full year? Had they already developed when we started anew? No, the wind didn't matter. It didn't change the facts. I was still attracted to her, regardless of when it had begun. But she pushed me away, quite literally. I sighed at myself. Why should I be disappointed? She was nothing like me. I was reclusive and unsociable. She was the exact opposite. She was the kind of person who would confidently tell someone how she felt. And she had done exactly that. Said I was like a brother. But I hadn't listened. As a matter of fact, could I have been any more presumptuous? I don't deserve to love anyone. It's better this way. Aw, man. He's letting the fact that, aw, man. He's letting the fact that he's, views himself as presumptuous. But he's letting that get in the way. Oh, no. At least he's I don't know. It's sad. This is so sad. Master! Let's go back to the same scene. What? I told you to go back to your room. Master, I need you to listen to me, okay? What? About, what just happened. That doesn't count. You can't count any of that. Huh? That I said I loved you and that I shoved you. They don't count. Ah. Right, I was planning to forget that anyway. So don't worry. No, that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that it's not something I should have said on a whim just because the moonlight was kind of pretty tonight. It wasn't supposed to be so casual. The way I said it doesn't get across at all how much I really care about you. It should have been something with more impact, rather. Me looking into your eyes. My heart jumping around like it's on fire. That's how I should have said it. What? What are you? I'm saying I want you to give me one more chance to do it right. Gazelle. I. It just goes robot mode. I. Calm yourself. I am calm. In no sense of the word are you calm. Fine then, I'm not calm, but I am clear-headed. I mean every last word. Listen very carefully. I love you. I love you so much I feel like my heart is going to explode. What? Huh? You mean like family? Like a brother, right? Romantic love, romantic. What's a romance? I wasn't upset back there.
No, I was elated.
What? My mind couldn't keep up with what I was hearing. Half out of breath where she stood. Gazelle was frantically insisting that she loved me. Was I dreaming?
Master? How do you... I'd like to hear how you feel about me. Assuming I interpreted that correctly, you were going for a kiss back there, right? Right? So I could take that as your answer?
Gazelle looked at me with bleary eyes. She had feelings for me. It was a miracle. I could hardly breathe. I could hardly bleed. It felt like someone had stuck their hand in my chest and was squeezing my heart. I just had to say yes, and a smile would spread across her face. So I said no. I could bring her joy, and all it would take is a single word. I had no reason to say no. My happiness was standing right there in front of me. What more could I ask for? All I had to do was reach out and claim it for myself.
Why does it sound like we're getting ready for him to not do exactly that?
I tried to do exactly that in the chapel, and I could do it again. I loved her. I was a twisted man, cast out of the world and left with nothing. I had no way to make her happy. But still Don't tell me you've forgotten what you are.
Tell me.
There was no moonlight to give me that nudge.
Oh no, is the voice in his head? Oh no, come on.
Do not feel that way about you.
Oh no. Ah, you can't be serious.
I got confused for a moment. I apologize for the misunderstanding that seems to have caused.
Oh no, all the color drained from her. Like a flower wilting before my eyes. Like a red rose turning white. A heavy sigh spilled from her lips.
Her jade eyes swayed lifelessly back and forth. I hadn't thought mere love could possibly have such weight, but she looked as though I had just told her she was to be executed.
I see. I'm sorry. I let it get to my head. I'm sorry for making such a racket. Really, God, what was I thinking? I got way ahead of myself there.
Her faux energy hurt to watch. I had hurt her, and this was the result.
You wanted to protect yourself, even if it meant hurting her. But look at where that got you. You would have been better off just going with it. Because when she learned the truth, she would have pushed you away anyway. I'm sorry. I'll be going now. Sorry for barging in on you like that. Oh, no, no. She made her way into the shadows toward the door. There, you did it. You preserved your peace.
Got the feeling she would never again turn back.
Your mistake was ever getting close to anyone.
What I had always wanted was right there in front of me. I was so close to obtaining it.
And you pushed her away.
I actually did love her.
She would never love the real you. No, she couldn't. You're disgusting. I can't believe you actually had the gall to fall for me.
Ugh.
Good night, Master.
She was leaving. I wanted her here, and she was leaving. I simply had to acknowledge my feelings and she would come back. Was I really content to let her go? My weakness. I mistreated her. I hurt her. I let her go, and I was about to lose her, even though she said she loved me. I felt the same way. Wait, please don't go.
Your voice is shaking like a scared child's. What are you hoping to tell her like that?
She was different. She was probably... Excuse me. Really killing the mood there when a burp comes through. No, she absolutely was nothing like anyone in my past. She won't be any different. I decided I would try just one more time. To believe in myself and to believe in someone else. I lied. Gazelle, from the bottom of my heart, You'll regret this. No, I won't. I sincerely love you. And one more time. Into the scene. The fragrance of Rose enveloped me. Her arms wrapped around my chest were imbued with strength and shaking like mad, as though the slightest touch might shatter them. Back to the scene.
Why didn't you just say that in the first place?
She said in a quavering, sniveling voice just inches from my ear. I lacked sufficient control over my mind or body to return her embrace, to run my hands through her hair, or to do anything more than support her weight. I'm sorry.
Jerk, bully, brute. You don't get to play this one off as a joke.
I am truly, sincerely sorry.
You've given me two different stories. Tell me, which one's the truth? Were you just confused, or do you actually love me?
Well, now that I think about it,
I want to hear you say it again.
The truth is, I love you.
Again!
I love you.
Without fumbling this time.
I love you. I've said this several times now.
Not good enough. Again!
Have mercy, please. I'm about to die of humiliation. Also, please get the snot out of your nose before it goes to your lips.
Can I really believe you this time? You're not going to say you were lying again?
No, I won't.
Then we both feel the same way about each other.
Shockingly enough.
What's there to be shocked about?
I didn't think there was anything likable about me.
You really have to do something about that pessimism.
I'll try.
I'm in heaven. I'm so happy I could cry.
You are all over me, getting your snot and tears everywhere on this robe, in my hair.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. When you first said no, everything went black. I wasn't sure what I would do anymore. I lost all hope.
I really do feel bad about that.
But you had a change of heart. Now you're willing to have me.
Yes.
And everything I bring with me.
That was the idea.
Wow. Absolutely everything, right?
You're pushing that point rather hard.
I have a request. It's something I don't think I could ask you at any time but now. While we're in the moment.
I will do anything, so long as it is within my ability. Tell me, what is it?
Oh, jeez. Will you look at me?
What?
More specifically, my scars. Okay, now that makes sense. That makes sense. You are going to have to see them eventually. In which case, I'd like that to be now.
A year ago, I had refused to look at her scars. I had been certain I wouldn't be able to accept what they represented. The abuse my father had subjected her to. If possible, I would have preferred never having to face that. But I, more than anyone, needed to know. Jeez, I am just stumbling on words. It was my responsibility. I had to accept reality, not grimace or avert my eyes. I had to face up to what had been done to her. Okay. I couldn't bring myself to look at her as she hesitantly disrobed. The sound of her clothes rustling made me feel as though I was doing something incredibly improper. As much as I tried to feign calm, I was so tense my joints were practically creaking and my heart felt like it was being stepped on. I feel like I'm made of stone. What is that supposed to mean?
I'm ready.
Alright. Well, actually, we'll go a little bit more.
You can turn around.
We may have to blur this out. I don't know how much it's planning to show, but if it shows, we are blurring it. Alright. Count to 10. She's laughing at me.
Feel a whole lot better seeing you so nervous.
Turning around.
Okay.
Okay, yep. We are blurring this. DG, get the blur filter on, please.
Her head was tilted down just enough to keep me from making out her expression, but she couldn't hide the pink flush spreading across her cheeks.
Of course, that's the first thing you fucking denote.
Contrasted well against her white but not excessively pale skin, as in her jet black hair.
Oh yes, I'm having quite a feast for my eyes while she's trying to show me her life scars.
Sorry, it's not anything nicer to look at.
What way? Come on, man. I never been... Jesus, dude, come on. Stop thirsting. For someone who just professed their love to you and now wants you to see their emotionally ruined friggin' scars for life. I was certain the same Say as much confidence. Yep, alright. Incoherent rasps. Yes.
Please say something.
Ah.
I'm hideous, aren't I? I'm unclean.
You're not hideous.
You mean it?
I mean it.
Why?
Why would you think so?
Because
You're not unclean in the slightest.
You mean it?
I do.
Even seeing this?
Gazelle's eyes slid downward, a trace of fear lurking just beneath the surface. Following her lead, I dropped my gaze to her lower body, and there I saw her scars. Swollen, red and black gashes, still not healed after more than a year, defiled her flesh. As she had described for me, the lines were arranged to form letters carved into her skin. Ah, so that's why she said I would have to see them eventually. My instincts told me these were wounds she would carry for the rest of her life. No kidding, huh? I felt nauseous, heartbroken, infuriated at the fact that the person who had done this was out of my reach. And the fact that I could do nothing for her. What went through my father's mind when he looked at these? What did he gain from giving her those wounds? Why did he have to do this to her? Why my father of all people? Gazelle was the one with the scars. Gazelle was the one in pain. But I felt like someone had shoved a handful of needles into my chest. Dozens of thick metal stakes piercing the walls of my heart, blood streaming through me like a river. If I didn't force myself to face it, I was liable to run. What was the right thing to say? What was I supposed to tell her? As hard as I thought, I couldn't come up with an answer. All I could come up with was intense frustration. It killed me that I couldn't take these scars from her, that I couldn't give my father a piece of my mind. You are in no way hideous, no matter what marks are left on your body. It took all I had to form that single sentence.
Thank goodness. I'm so glad to hear that. When I was down in that village, they said it didn't matter what they did to me because I was already dirty. That made me think I had reached the point where I was so tainted, anyone could see it. I'm sorry.
Why should you apologize?
Also, I'm only continuing at this point, this episode, just until we get out of this friggin' out of this scene that none of you can see because we're on YouTube. You're frowning really intensely. I thought I might have made you mad.
No, I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at my father, the villagers, and myself. May I touch them?
You may.
My hands were trembling, but I knew I wouldn't be doing her any favors by hesitating. As soon as my fingertips brushed her skin, she shuddered. Does it hurt?
No, there hasn't been pain in some time.
I could feel her trembling where I touched her. It didn't seem like it was going to subside anytime soon. Soon she began whimpering softly. Her lips moved as though she was trying to say something, but the best she managed was a few strained gasps. Tears had begun welling up in her eyes as well.
I feel like I'm in heaven right now, but I also kind of hate myself.
Hate yourself? But why?
Because I can't stop shaking. I'm overjoyed to feel your touch, but I can't control my body.
Oh, jeez. I see. Yeah. No, I get it.
I know you're nothing like that. I keep seeing flashes.
Uh-huh. I was foolish to have ever thought these wounds might have healed. Just scars remained on her body, so too did they remain in her heart. I see.
I wasn't sure. It felt like...
Oh, man.
I don't know. This is pretty sad.
Like the physical wounds, though, the ones inside her seemed to still be raw and bleeding. She did such a good job of acting normal that I began to think she might have gotten past them. Of course not, you blind fool. You shoved me back there because it brought back those memories?
That's right. I'm sorry. I'm really, truly sorry.
Why are you apologizing? I should be the one. Do you have any desire to place a curse on him?
What?
Do you want to curse Antonin? If you so desire, I might be able to make it happen. Cast a curse on him. Perhaps even a fatal one. Ignore the fact that he's my father. I don't consider that man family anymore. I want you to be honest with me. If hypothetically such a thing were possible, would you want to curse him?
And this is a man that said he doesn't like hypotheticals. No, I would not want that.
Why not? You have every right to take revenge. For what that man did, he deserves punishment. He inflicted so much pain on you. You're still shaking more than a year later, and you can just let him get away with it out of the goodness of your heart? Hypothetically, if you wanted to curse him, I
wouldn't do it even hypothetically. Not out of the goodness of my heart. I'm just a coward.
A coward?
If curses were real, and he were to die by one, then I would never, ever be able to forget. If my resentment for him took his life, that would mean he had damaged me so permanently I was never able to get past it. I don't want that. I want to be able to forget. I'm still shaking now, but one day I want to be able to proclaim proudly that it no longer has any control over me.
That's a good message. Kind of. I don't know. Oh, man.
This game has given me a lot of things to think on. But I appreciate the sentiment. Setting aside your choice of method. You asked out of concern, and that's more than enough for me.
A soft smile spread across her lips, but all it inspired in me was powerlessness. She was putting on an act. Was the sentiment really more than enough? Of course not. Not when she was still trembling so much. But what was I to do? What was I, unable to leave this house and helpless against the will of the Bolligers, to do? I was incapable of assuaging her pain, wasn't I? I couldn't do anything, could I? before I throw in the towel, I need some real time to think. Stop running from the problem. To figure out a real way to give her what she wants. That doesn't involve curses and angry words. There has to be something only I can do. Gazelle took the hand that had been tracing her scars and slid it around her waist. Even now, her trembling showed no signs of abating. I would never, the one thing I could do, hurt you again. Aw, was to wrap her trembling body in my arms. Aw, that's nice. That's so sweet. I want you here with me. All I ask of you for now is to be at my side. You can be scared and you can quiver, but please don't apologize for it. Please don't feel bad about it. I promise not to turn my head away from your pain. So I ask of you, try not to keep it buried. I have no power or influence. I don't know all the right things to say. I am a man with nothing to his name. But the one thing I do have is a heartfelt desire to do whatever I can for you. As soon as I tightened my grip around her waist, she lurched forward, throwing her arms around me. Nah. Muffled whimpers resonated against my shoulders, where she had buried her head. Ha! Eventually they grew into unfettered sobs. It's a freaking fly is crawling on my arm, Jesus. Oh. My bed chamber was enveloped in the sound of weeping. She cried like a little child. The usually strong-willed, cheerful, optimistic Gazelle wailed from the depths of her soul. This past year, she had been constantly nudging me forward. It was always leading her the way, or it was always her leading the way. There had undoubtedly been moments where she had wanted to cry like this, but couldn't. So starting now, I was going to try and support her too. I was sure I would mess something up, as I had little experience being caring. I'd probably anger her, probably stress her out, and probably make her cry. But I had found my resolve. I had overcome my hesitation. I was sure I could do it. That I could create a place where she could find peace. I could surely. Gazelle didn't stop crying until the sun had begun peeking over the horizon. Okay! Whew, finally! Finally! It is time to end this episode, but wow! This has been one hell of an emotional journey these characters have taken. Oh man. what a intriguing love story. And also, I don't know. There's like themes of like very heavy themes of overcoming the worst things that have happened to you in your life, I suppose. With the both of them, right? With Gazelle's whole thing, and oh my god, what's his name? Mikkel's banishment. Gazelle's banishment after being, well, tortured, for lack of a better term. Well, for the lack of not wanting to say the better term out loud. These characters have been through a lot. It seems like there's still a little bit more to go with the voice in Mikkel's head, so we'll just have to see where it goes next time on Hooky Hour. Until then, I'll see you. Bye.